Moving is something that everyone has to do at some point in their lives, but is actually something that gets talked about so little. For something that seems so common, I had no idea about things like reasonable costs, timelines, or what services were actually good. Since evacuating MIT in 2020, I've moved 4 times, from Boston to Mobile, to Palo Alto, to Philly, and back to Boston again. In all honesty, I'm making this video because I wish I had this video before I did all of these other moves. Anyways, huge shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and let's get right into it. My first tip is to choose a quality moving service and to not base your initial decision just off of the quote price. I say this not even just to say quality over price, but also to warn you that you'll probably end up paying more for the move with the lower initial quote anyways. A lot of moving companies will charge you for every little thing upon arrival. The amount of space your stuff will take up in a truck is always severely underestimated. You almost always need more packing material, and you should also bank on the fact that the parking situation will not be what the movers view as ideal. And all this means for you is extra charges and extra money out of your pocket. For my move from Palo Alto to Philly, I was actually quoted $6,000 for that total move across the country. But when they got to my apartment, that's when I got an extra $2,000 worth of charges day of. So this go around with my move from Philly to Boston, I went with a company 495 Movers that quotes you a flat rate with no extra fees. And no, they didn't sponsor me for anything, I just would highly recommend in the future. The good thing about 495 Movers is that they even provided packing materials for me. So what I'd say is to make sure that moving forward, when you are doing a move like this, to make sure to find reviews of the moving company you're dealing with. Then if they seem trustworthy, make sure they know the amount you're willing to spend, and I'm sure that they'd add or remove services to come meet you at a number you're comfortable at. Okay, so this next tip is something that I only did for this most recent move, but has really been helpful, and that's to get reusable bins. First of all, buying quality moving bins has seemingly gotten a lot more expensive over the last couple of years, so their cost isn't negligible anymore. Also, as much as the boxes claim to be able to be used multiple times, you're probably not going to have the extra space to just store a bunch of large cardboard boxes. With cardboard boxes, there's always things that were neatly organized in your place that will need to be removed, packed, unpacked, and reorganized in the new place. However, if you use reusable bins from the beginning, they'd already be in a movable container that will already be organized once the move is complete. This has helped Michelle and I a lot with storing cleaning supplies, cables, and a lot of other miscellaneous objects in our new place. My third tip is really important, and that's managing the stress around the time that you're going to move. Everyone seems to underestimate the amount of stress that moving is. I say at least a couple weeks before and after your move, you should try and remove any other life stressors. If this means potentially using some PTO or finishing some projects early, you'll thank yourself later. Moving itself is a giant mental load because of all of the moving pieces that have to go in unison. And when you start adding extra stress from work, events, or other responsibilities, it can get to be way too much for a person to handle. For our last move, Michelle and I tried to do whatever we could in terms of getting services that would have us do as little work as possible. And when I got here, I still had a couple migraines because there were lingering work projects that were really stressful that I had to deal with. So I would advise that you should conservatively overestimate how long it'll take to pack, move, and get settled, and then try your best to move other stressors outside that window. Along the same lines of managing your stress, my fourth tip involves just making sure that you take care of the other stuff around moving before you actually do the moving. What I mean by this is setting up all of your utilities, getting your internet service set up, and maybe even doing things like getting a primary physician in your new place before you actually do the move. A lot of these things might sound simple to do as soon as you do move, but as I said, you'll completely underestimate the type of stress you'll be under when you do move, so you'll thank yourself later. Get everything done beforehand. And then once you get here, it'll just be a lot easier to continue your life as you were living it without having to worry about, oh, I didn't set up my electricity, or oh, I don't have Wi-Fi, or stuff like that. My fifth tip is to make sure that you have living arrangements on either side of the move, regardless of what that timeline is. Even if you're moving across states and it's only going to be a one-day move, you're going to want to be able to sleep somewhere before you move, and you're going to want to be able to sleep right away when you do arrive. For the instance for this Philly to Boston move, it's about a 5-hour drive, but that meant that the movers had to come pack the stuff and then leave and then meet us here the next morning. So we had to get a hotel the day we moved here so that we had somewhere to sleep, and we were here to open the door so that they can come in and start moving the stuff in this direction. What I would have done in hindsight is, book that hotel. Now I have a place to go to once we're done packing up the day before, because typically movers come in the early mornings. And then the next day when they come, everything's just a much smoother process. You don't have to stress about packing your bed sheets last or which toiletries you can pack. Having a place to stay on either end is a really good thing when it comes to moving. Before talking about my next 5 moving tips, I wanted to quickly talk about something that'll be worth your time, whether it's before, during, or after a move, and that's Skillshare. Skillshare is a proud channel sponsor of mine and is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Through creativity, Skillshare can help you and me make 2022 a year of new learning, growth, and connection. If you're interested in making a career pivot or leveling up your skills for your side hustles, Skillshare is a great resource for you. Classes like Demystifying Cryptocurrency by Malcolm DeMars and Start Your Creative Career with Sandra Rasula gave me valuable insights to push forward in my various endeavors. Skillshare is ad-free, so I'm able to stay in the zone while exploring new skills. And since new premium classes launch every week, there's always something new to discover. The first 1,000 people to use the link below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. My 6th tip is to plan beforehand where everything is going to go. For the last couple of moves, what's been really helpful is this actual iPad app called Room Planner. With Room Planner, you can size up all your furniture you have, even pre-put some stuff from, say, IKEA, and really just design rooms based on the different floor plans of the places that you're even considering moving. So this is something that has helped me in picking different apartments just to make sure that all of my furniture will fit. And then afterwards, it just makes it really easy to have the movers come and then just point at exactly where everything should go. And you already know that it's going to fit because you did the planning beforehand. This has helped a lot with making sure that as soon as we do move, we're ready to go right away. And we don't have to worry about having other people come to just move the couch over a little bit or move the TV stand, because when they did do the move, we knew exactly where everything was going to go already. But this leads right into my next point, to make sure that your friends, family, and your coworkers know that you're doing this move. Because in the instance where you do need help, say assembling a bed or lifting some heavy piece of furniture, those colleagues, those friends, those loved ones will be there to help you through those. I've had a couple of people come over and, you just feed them dinner. They're already your loved ones and friends, so it shouldn't take much more than that. And it has helped a lot with getting us settled really fast. For example, I had a coworker and friend come over and build a bed, and then another friend came over and helped build a TV stand. So if you do have people in the area, invite them over and maybe they can help you do some stuff. My next tip is to beware of furniture that you need to build. I understand, and I've been there and I bought many pieces from places that provided furniture that is easy to assemble, cheap, and just gets the job done. If you're still in the position where a lot of the stuff you get are from IKEA and Wayfair, all the power to you. There's still some great pieces that look great that it's hard to tell. But when you're doing constant moves or you're moving into more permanent places, just know that a lot of those pieces that I got from those places broke along the way, and it made it so that there was this sunk cost with furniture that I thought was cheaper in the beginning, but now I have to get a newer one a year later, which ends up making me feel like I'm double purchasing. So whether that's furniture stores, whether that's Facebook Marketplace where you can go and see the actual piece, those are things that I recommend for more long-term furniture in regards to moves. Okay, this next one's good. Command mounting strips. I know you've probably seen them or you've probably used them, but command strips are those things that you can mount on the wall and not have it leave any residue. And it's great for places that you're leasing because you don't want to be hammering nails everywhere, because you're going to get your security deposit taken away pretty fast. Something that I learned over the years is that command strips aren't just handy for things like pictures and hooks. They can hang things like sound panels and even shelves. And they have pretty high weight tolerances, and as long as you follow the instructions and you leave it on a flat surface for a prolonged period of time and let that adhesive adhere, you're going to get pretty valuable and reliable strength out of those things. So if you see things that I'll show in the B-roll right now in terms of my shelves and my sound panels and the different canvases around the place, those were all mounted with command mounting strips. So I cannot recommend them enough. And no, I'm not sponsored. I would love to be, but they're just great. Okay, so my last tip is to just get settled as quickly as possible. You don't want that mental burden of knowing that finally you set up maybe 6 months down the line and now you just have 6 months left in your lease. So take the advice that Michelle and I did for ourselves, was make sure that we get settled as quickly as possible. So that means don't just leave boxes to be unpacked later or wait to organize this room versus that room. Just bang it out, get everything done in a certain weekend, and I'm sure that you'll feel better after it all. And also, when everything is settled, you'll have a better frame of mind of the other things that you may need. Maybe you'll want to plant in this corner, or maybe you need another storage solution over here, but you'll never really know until you're actually settled. So yeah, on a more personal note, I'm getting better every day. Hopefully you're noticing that my face is getting a little smaller with each video. But yeah, I'm looking forward to posting more. I'm looking forward to actually using this new studio space. Hopefully you like it. If you want a tour, leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.